For those who haven't met, my name is Mike Weisman. I run a team up in Maine, also on your National Agent Advisory Council. I've been at EXP 4 years. 3 of those 4 were Icon years. I was leader Icon of the year last year. And AI is one of my favorite things to use in pretty much every aspect of the business. So I'm going to go over I'm going to keep this kind of open like a workshop, like a mastermind a little bit. But let me cover some very specific things at the beginning that I know that if you take action on, will absolutely generate listings. Is that good? Everybody's open to some more listings?
Yes.
Yeah, like sellers actually calling you, like asking if you can list their house? Those kind of listings?
Yes.
Okay, good. So that's what I want to go through here. So I want to start with that, though, we're going to kind of look at, obviously there's no magic AI that'll do that, right? But there's a lot of tools that we can put to work for us with things we may be doing right now already that will accelerate that process and actually create that effect where sellers do call us. So first thing I want to talk about is getting found online, right? Many of you may have seen me speak before. I speak a lot about getting found on your Google platforms. Has anybody ever seen me speak on the Google before, maybe? Yeah, over there. Oh, there. How you doing? So I speak on that fairly often. My son, Ben, who couldn't make the conference this week, is one of probably the best at generating inbound leads off of Google. Got about 200 people, a lot of EXP agents around the country we do that for. But let's talk for a second about how AI can help you do that in a very practical way. So when we talk about Google, obviously we're not going to look at slides. We're going to just kind of talk what we know. We're talking about the search platform. There's 2 platforms. There's Google Business Profiles. That's when you search and a map comes up, right? Familiar with those? And then there's this thing called LSA, Local Service Ads. Okay? And if you pick out your phones right now and you search for real estate agent in Maine. And I did it right before I got up here to test it out. And we were the second one on the list. So do that search, real estate agent in Maine. It needs to be on Google, needs to have that exact words. And that will generate phone calls. Now, why do we show up first consistently? Is because understand that Google is a review-based platform, right? And reviews are doing 2 things on Google. The AI part is coming here. Okay, on both of those platforms, reviews, getting consistent reviews is what puts you to the top and drives you up on there. Okay, once you're found, getting quality reviews is what converts you. So there's a real quality, there's a real value in getting consistent reviews, but also quality reviews. And what I've seen is, as much as we talk about this, that's the hardest thing for agents to do is get reviews. Like how many people here get consistent reviews on your profiles like once a week, every week? Good. Yeah, a couple. Not a lot of hands though. Okay, if all the hands in the rooms went up, you all would be closing 1 to 2 deals a month off of Google guaranteed. I've seen it over and over again. Okay, so how do we do that? So usually the problem is, it's not a matter of not knowing how to get them. It's kind of like we all know where the reviews are. They're with our past clients, right? Or if you're a brand new agent, you can still do this. So how do we use AI for this? So first off, what we want to do is there's 2 friction points in getting reviews. Tell me if you agree with this. There's 2 friction points. One is we send a link to our client and nothing happens. Right? I see a lot of nodding, right? And now I'll remind them, and maybe again, and now I'm getting kind of annoying, right? So that's a friction point that your client's got to do something and click it. Second friction point is we got to do it. Okay? So here's how we're going to solve that problem right off the bat. We're going to use AI. Okay? Does anybody here have a problem getting on a phone and talking to their client after a transaction, having a conversation with them, asking them kind of questions like, hey, what did you enjoy most about working with me and my team? That's an easy conversation to have, right? Agreed? Okay, now here's what you're going to do. You're going to run a tool called, you can use a couple of them. We use Otter, OTTER.ai. This morning at the AAC meeting, Glenn was sitting at our table, and he was running Firefly the whole meeting. Okay, so Glenn Sanford loves Firefly. Same idea. He has a little phone there. He's recording everything. It's all going into AI. So, Mr. and Mrs. Client, I would love it if you would help me by just letting me ask you a few questions about the experience you had in working with my team, or if you have a team yourself, working with me in this transaction. Would you mind if I did that? And while we're talking on the phone, I'm going to be running in the background on my computer. This little app is just going to transcribe the call. Would you mind if that very much? They're all going to agree to that. Okay? So you get on the phone, and you have this great 10-minute conversation. Don't worry how it goes. Ask them, where were you before you started working with me? What was your challenge? How did the deal go? How did we solve your problem? Otter or Firefly will record that entire thing. Okay? And then you say, would you do me one favor? If I take what you gave me, and I send you, and I just have my assistant, my digital assistant, summarize it and send it to you, would you copy and paste it if I give you the link on Google? Okay? You'll get a 95%. But here's the thing, you'll get a really good review. Because this is what you're going to do. You're going to, after the Otter stops, or the Firefly stops, you're going to give it a simple prompt and say, please craft me an authentic review using only the information that I'm presenting to you. Now, if you're an Otter, this is built in. Otter has a prompt field right in there. You can say, Otter, please provide me, a 200-word review, 150-word review, using only the information contained in this transcript, and make sure to hit all the, the pain points and the solutions, and make it a really strong review for me. Brrr, comes right up. Copy, paste it, send the link, and ask them, it's their words. Okay? This is going to accomplish a couple things. One, it'll get done, because they don't have to. The biggest problem they have when you ask them about a review is they got to think about it. And we all look, and I don't care whether you're like, Stephen King wrote a whole book about looking at the blank page, right? And the writer's dilemma, the writer's block. If he's got it, everyone's got it, more or less. And that's what your client's problem is. It's a writer's block. So solve that problem, right? You gave them now, what have you accomplished here is, one, you haven't just got a review, you've got a really good review. Because the review is going to talk about like the problem, the specific circumstances, very specific. It's not just like, Mike and his team did a great job. We call them and send all of our friends there, and, if anybody that asks. That's an okay review to get. This will be, we have an old home, had a lot of problems. Mike and his team really helped us work through the inspections, and we had an issue with our septic, but they were able to negotiate this deal, and the yada, yada, yada goes on. And it's very complete. Okay, now where is this going to really help you? Here's what I know about search. Did anybody do that search for a real estate agent in Maine, by the way? Did I come up? Real property team? Second, okay, good. Second, okay. That closes, by the way, 30 to 40 deals a year. Okay, you want to have an icon 3 times at EXP? Just rank 1 or 2 in Google Local Services. It's not hard. I'm being a little light on it, but it's very true. That closes 30 deals a year. So this is worth putting some effort into. Most of that comes from consistent reviews and just really optimizing it. That's a whole different subject. You can reach out to me. We can kind of go through that. Happy to help. Anybody in this room can reach out to me, get me a workplace, and I'll help you with that. But here's what I know about that search. What you saw there are search results. Okay? So right now, if you go to Google and search, you get search results. Okay, does anybody use an app called Perplexity to search on? Yeah? What's different about it? What does it give you?
Citations of where it got the information.
Yeah, citations. It also gives you an answer. It answers your question, and it references back to the internet. Okay? Anybody ever here shop on Amazon? All right? Scroll down to what's at the top of every review section now on Amazon? An AI result. Have you seen that? Okay, what people like about this microphone is it's long battery life and its sound quality, et cetera, and it goes to kind of the pluses and minuses. It's reading thousands of reviews sometimes and summarizing it. This is where search is going. Okay, Google is already transitioning into that mode of search. You're seeing it now if your beta is turned on. Okay, and that means that when someone searches best real estate agent in Maine, okay, Google always goes to its own platforms first to get results. Why? Because they trust their own data. right? If anybody here has gone through the process of getting verified on Google, we do this with clients all over the country. Google verified. If you get reviews put in, it doesn't show up. Happens enough. I think most people have experienced that. Reviews don't show up. If you put a review on Google and they suspect it's not an actual review, like it may be, your mom or something like that reviewing you, it won't show, because they're very specific on the integrity of their platform. They're going for trust, the most trusted platform. So what I know what's going to happen on this platform, Google's already kind of announced it and foreshadowed it. The quality of this type of review, when someone searches best real estate agent in Miami, Florida, it's going to read your reviews. And if it can find specific of why you are the best here, that's the answer it will give with the citation back to its own source. Good?
Yeah, I had at least 10 of my clients left review for me, and they told that they have left it, and they took a picture that it shows in their own account, but it doesn't show in my account. And
Yeah.
they're real people.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is a problem. And I don't know why that happened. It shouldn't happen 10 times. We see it happen fairly often, fairly regularly, on occasion. But,
Maybe 5 to 6.
if you reach out, we can take a look at it, right? We can try to find that. Okay, so any questions on that? Anybody have any questions on how to accomplish that?
Do you want a mic for the questions, or do you want?
No, I mean, well, whatever. We can just shout them out.
Otter and Firefly, they work on your phone, like they'll record if you do a phone call, or do you have to be like next to your computer with those turned on?
That's a good question. So the Otter app works on your phone. I don't know about the Firefly app. Glenn was using it on his phone, recording the table. So presumably it does work like that. So I am recording every conversation with a seller, with a buyer. I do a lot of agent attraction recruiting right now. I've got about 35 people on this year. Every conversation is recorded, right? And so what I'm doing is I'm using Otter. It's on a tab on my computer. I hit that tab, and even if I'm calling on the computer, if I'm on a speakerphone, it's recording, or if I'm calling on my phone, I'm hitting that tab. And digital note-taking has changed everything, right? So now when you're speaking to a buyer or a seller, we get a lot. In fact, all these Google calls are recorded, but I record them as they come in to me because I'm referring most of them out. So when that call comes in, I hit the Otter tab, have the conversation, and I just literally can copy the link of the notes in that summary, and it goes right. I just paste it to the agent I'm sending it to, and boom, it's done. So I would use, like I said, we use Otter, but I think Firefly, they're comparable. Let's see. Any other questions on that review using AI strategy? Okay.
Okay, this is like kind of the ground floor with AI, because I'm having issues with my Google business page, even getting it verified. It keeps
Okay,
getting
so
suspended.
yeah, so again, it's a little bit off topic of AI, but you have to get on the Google page first to be able to get the review links, right? So reach out to me and we'll help you. I'll solve that. But there's reviews for not just for Google. I mean for anything, Facebook, wherever you want reviews from.
Is there an AI solution for getting past client reviews?
Past client reviews. So other than calling them up and talking to them? Well, yeah, I mean, there is. So the best quality review you will get right now is making the phone call. Okay, making the phone call and saying, like, what's your name? Eddie? Eddie, it was really great, that transaction we closed. I know it's been a while, it's been almost a year. And I should have been better to keep in touch with you and follow up how are things going, have the forward conversation, right? And say, I am really working on building out my Google profiles right now and the reviews. Would you mind if we had a quick conversation? I'm going to record it on a digital transcription on my AI, and then just send you a summary, take a look at it, and I'll give you a link. You can copy and paste it onto Google for me. Would you do that for me? Okay, now what's going to happen from that too is I promise you, you will get 1 or 2 or 3 listings or buyers, because this is going to give you a reason to call everybody. Right? What I know from running teams and coaching and training agents is if I can get my agents on the phones, they will close deals. Right? If you're gonna, my coach's name is John Dietz, who's now speaking in the other room over there on attraction, and John is like, what's your standard? He knows that if I have so many conversations a week, whether that's for attraction or listings, you will hit your numbers, you'll hit your goals, or come very close, or exceed them. So conversations are everything. So if this little strategy, now you can leave here now with this incredible, you could leave 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I mean, I spoke to someone I did a deal with 2 years ago. And you just apologize, say, and it went well in the transaction, and ask for the review. But have the conversation with them, because they won't know what to write. They might not even remember it so well. But you'll have your notes, you'll have the conversation. Oh, remember that was, this little problem that we had to solve, and this was a problem on her deed, actually, especially she had called me about it. So, oh, yeah, you were great, you really took care of that, we appreciate that very much, and now we've got another problem that came up, can you help me with this? Sure thing, right? So, use this strategy as a way to get on the phones, use this AI tool to get the review, and then paste it, copy it, yeah.
What's your opinion on how long because you could give the prompts any number you want.
Yeah.
And then
So-
the second would be, what do you think about getting cross-sale agents that you get along with?
Absolutely.
Do the same thing.
Yeah. So the proper, I don't remember what the actual count, I think it's somewhere like 100 words, something like that. If you look at it, the actual, or 100 characters, it's 150 characters, I think. You have to look at the screen there. A paragraph is what you're looking for. But it'll do such a good job of that. If there's one more question was in front of that?
The cross-sale agent.
Yeah, so here, so look, I was just talking to my son Ben, who couldn't be here today, there's 4 reviews for every sale, if you think about it. Okay, 1, you've got the client, the buyer, the seller. Okay, 2, you should be calling the title agent, right? If you at your work with, in our state, we're a title state or the attorney. And do the exact same thing. See, they won't give you the review. Like, you can send them a link all day long, you have a 10% response rate. This will take your response rate to about 100%, right? It's everything except basically doing it for them, which you almost could do on the phone if you wanted to. It is so fast, you could literally say, hang on a second, okay, here it is, I'm gonna check your email, you see a link there, can you do me a favor, just copy and paste that link and we'll be done? Great, and send them a $20 gift card to Amazon, something like that, right? So yeah, so you got the client, you have a title company, you have the co-broker, the cross agent, we call them co-broker, so for sure. And the way you work with them is say, look, I'm building on my profile, my profile. Let's have a quick conversation. Tell me what went, I think the transaction went well. You tell me what you liked working with me. I'll do the same for you. I'll send you the review for both of us. You post on mine, I post on yours. Okay, so now we've got 2, and you've got a conversation with an agent. And I know where that will lead if you're, want to take that to the next step, because more agent conversations leads to more attraction opportunities. And then you got your lender, right? Partners. Your lender should. Now you may have the same lender on different deals, so it won't be 4 every time. But think about all the parties that touched the transaction that you had an interface with that appreciated your work, because they don't have to have been a closed client, right? And then you just power. It's basically an AI-powered review platform, right? That you can create this with. So. Yeah.
First of all, you're number 3 in New Hampshire, which makes me mad.
Sorry.
No, good. I gotta work on this.
We're in other states too. I'll keep it quiet for now. So.
So, my other question is, all right, so we take on this project, we're getting the reviews.
Yeah.
But I've heard that you can't put a lot on at once. Is there a certain magic?
It's not, I mean, we generally say 2 to 3 a week is a good pace, right? What my son Ben was up here, he would say. What we find is that will actually do more for your profiles than stacking them. Like if we try to get 10 or 15 at once, you might see them get declined, right? And remember, Google is doing this because they are a trust-based platform. Their goal is to become the most trusted source, the most trusted platform when someone wants to find a local service in their industry, in their area. So they're very careful about these reviews. And they're doing it that way because they are going to go to the AI platform. We're seeing it already in beta. They are going to AI for beta search. Okay, so how much we good on time? Yeah. So let's shift gears a little bit now, and I'm going to leave reviews. I want to stay with the idea of using this to take listings for us. Help us take more listings. So one of the ways, does anybody here farm neighborhoods or communities or categories of homes, kinds of homes? Yeah, a few hands going up there, right? Okay, good. So you know, when I lived in Florida for a bunch of years. I wasn't in real estate down here, but I was managing municipal bond portfolios, and I had clients that lived in a lot of named communities, you know, all around here. They name all the communities, right? All the gated communities are named. So Admiral's Cove up in Stewart was a big one that we did business in. Mariner Sands. So if you're an agent and you want to start farming a community, so I want to teach you a little bit. In fact, I have actually a built GPT, which I'm going to take time up here, but after this session is over, on my laptop screen, I actually have a QR code. You can just walk past and take it. It'll take you to a GPT. You know what a GPT is? Yeah, it's an already built like set of prompts to create. And what this is going to create is a guide. Okay, so I'm really big on creating guides. One of my mentors' name is Dean Jackson, who was a real estate agent for a long, long time, big marketing guy. He's credited with inventing the squeeze page. I mean, like the original concept of a squeeze page years ago. So think about building authority, right? Think about, I'll give you an example. So I do a lot of coastal and waterfront properties, okay? And so last week I was working on a guide in a particular area called the Belgrade Lakes area in Maine. And some of you might, if you've been to Maine, Belgrade Lakes, it's just probably northwest of Augusta. There's probably 6 or 7 lakes in that area. So if I'm going to target home buyers and home sellers, okay? The home buyers is kind of obvious because if I'm looking to buy a home, if I have the buyer's guide to the Belgrade Lakes area, is that a guide that a potential buyer in that area might want? Okay, for sure. So, but also let's think about it from a seller's perspective. Okay, what is a seller thinking about when they first even consider the idea of selling their home? What's kind of the first thing that comes to their mind? Price. Yeah. What's my home worth? Okay. What's the last thing they want to do at this point in time? Talk to a realtor. Okay? It's the last thing they want to do. So what we've done is we'll create price guides. Okay? We'll create price guides to various communities. So I own a whole slew of different domain names. But if I was down here, let's say, like Mariner Sands, which is a community up in Stewart that I used to do some business in when I was selling tax-free bonds, I would have the Mariner Sands October 2024 price guide. Okay, the price guide. I'd also have a buyer's guide. Now they're the same guide with a slight difference. Okay, what's the difference? Is the seller's guide has everything you need to know about selling your home, but also has all the historical data taken into it. Okay, so I'll give you a GPT that you literally just put the name of the community in, and it'll give you 10 chapters of this guide. So when I did it for the Belgrade Lakes one last week, and I was working on with one of my sessions, I was teaching a group on my Monday marketing call. We did this in about less than 15 minutes. We had a 10-page PDF with photos straight off the internet, a ready-to-go guide to potential home buyers in the Belgrade Lakes, Maine. It listed all 5 or 6 lakes, the depth of the lake, the kind of fish in the lake, each home, the average price point of each home, the styles of homes you find in the lakes, the schools, the shopping, things that would literally have, in the past, would have taken myself and a VA easily a week and a lot of heartache and a lot of procrastination, meaning it probably wouldn't have gotten done, was done in like 14 minutes. Right? And now it gets fleshed out. It does get fleshed out, and you can go in there and, as you start to get comfortable with ChatGPT, you talk to it like it's what it is, which is a skilled, not even a VA, it's a skilled marketing professional. And you have it expand and expound different sections, right? And then we take that text, and it's breaking down to chapters. I'll give you the tool for this. I even have a recording. If you hit me up after this, I'll send you the recording of this session where we built it totally with AI. And then we took it into an app called Gamma. Anybody use Gamma? One in the back. Gamma. Is it .app? It's .app, I think. Gamma.app. The most incredible presentation builder I've ever seen. You take that summary, you put it in Gamma.app, you pick a template, you hit go, you have this incredibly prepared, professional, any format you want. It's PowerPoint, PDF. It even goes and finds the best pictures it can. We built one for a community in Pennsylvania, a golf community. So it doesn't need to be a named community. So here up in Maine, we don't have named communities. So I have coastal and waterfront properties. I have antique and classic home, the buyer and seller's guide to antique and classic homes in Maine. How to prepare your antique and classic home for a sale, or how to buy one. Okay. Now when it comes time to start engaging with potential sellers, what we're going to do is we're going to start creating social media or promoted posts, let's say on Facebook. That's something like this, or we do postcards as well. Okay? We're going to create this guide. There are two sides of the same coin, right? And again, we didn't have much. There was no preparation for this, but can you kind of picture what I've got here, right? A cover of like a recognizable image of the front of the community, the types of homes. So if it was a gated community around here, it might even have the floor plans. It would have all the amenities, essentially everything. It would also, I would run a report on my MLS. Okay, anybody ever taken a report off the MLS, give it to ChatGPT and say, summarize this for me? Okay, if you haven't done it, you're missing out. It's absolutely incredible, right? You take this report for 12 months of data, 24 months of data, hand it to ChatGPT and say, please create me a summary that would be useful for a potential home seller to help them determine the price of their house. So please include things like square footage and floor plans, etc., and categorize it and make them to a neat kind of layout and chart, and like boom, in like 14 seconds or less, you've got exactly what you want. Now, as much as there's information on the internet right now, I challenge any non-licensed professional to go and get actual closed data that's reliable. Zillow's not making it available. You can find the closed data. You can go to the town records, but you really can't. The MLS, where it's most valuable is right now, is not in necessarily in syndication, but it's actually in the data. Okay, you can subscribe to things that we use PropStream, something called PropStream. Everybody use PropStream? That's like we do that for our investment properties, yeah. So that data is valuable, and so most people don't have access to that. So here's what you're going to put out there. So you're going to think about a seller. When I think about communicating with a potential buyer or seller or any industry, there's a conversation that person is already having in their mind. Anybody ever heard that concept before? Enter the conversation that a seller is already having in their mind. So we just decided that a seller is right now thinking, how much is my home worth? Okay, but they don't want to call an agent. So that's your pitch. So if you're curious how much your coastal or waterfront home in the Belgrade Lakes area of Maine may be worth, here's an easy way to find out. Right? Simply go to belgradelakesprices.com and download our free quarterly pricing report to Belgrade Lakes homes. You'll have the last closed data for the last 2 years, current market trends, current inventory levels, and pretty much whatever else you want to add to that. Okay? This report is free, and it will be, and call it fourth quarter of 2024. Now that is easy to ask for, because that's already prepared. You with me? They don't have to call Mike or Ed or whomever, right? They don't have to call someone and invite a trained sales professional to their house and have a presentation. So that is going to basically create a phenomenon that people are raising their hand. Because the people that are curious in that report, to look at a pricing report, will be more likely to sell over the next 12 months. Okay, so if you can start running these kind of social media campaigns, and this GPT actually creates when you ask it to, it'll create you 4 posts just like this, right? 4 kind of clickbaity posts to get people to click on it and download your free guide, both for the buy side and for the sell side.
So one of the things I've been wanting to do, and I've not gone and spent the money, and now it sounds like you can almost do it on ChatGPT, is like I wanted to create these landing pages for a large geographical area, because like you said, you could have little neighborhoods, little sub-communities within communities, right? So it'd be like Creighton Beach.
Yep, it's perfect. Yep. Did you ever hear what's your name? Angelo said create like landing pages for different communities. So this Gamma app will create a website also. There's other ones that do it too, but this GAMMA.app will literally, you can build a website. and it puts up the website. Boom, and all you do is
And you
By-
just redirect it back to your main website?
yeah, or just forward the domain, or just change the DNS server, something like that. It's not, we've done it a couple times, so
Cool.
works well, right? So, okay, so I've got some, I covered what I wanted to cover, yeah, there's the data. All right, so. Yeah, so, and then you can even, I mean, there's really no limit to what you can start creating. I have gone to the EXP Buyers Toolkit. Has anybody not been to that site? EXP Buyers Toolkit? I don't want to see any hands go up. No. Right? And there's also the Sellers Toolkit. Okay? I must send people to that when agents call me with questions 3 or 4 times a week. Okay? I have taken both of those toolkits, everything in it. I mean, it's all good. It's not just good, it's the best in the industry, what Leo and his team and Holly and have put together for us. I've taken all that, I've uploaded it into ChatGPT, right, and I have it create customized listing presentations for me to answer all the questions, right, customized specifically for my market, right, and I add in anything state specific. So, right, why don't you have a guide right now that says, how to sell your home with the new commission rules, that, under the new commission rules since August, do you know that since August 17, 2024, commission rules have changed for both buyers and sellers? If you're curious how these commission rules may affect the sale of your house, I've compiled this free guide, right? Boom, and literally it's right there, right? You can just take everything and dump it into the ChatGPT and say, create me that guide, and then just talk to it, and then put your own self into it, right? Make it sound like you, from you. Okay, really, really important. What else? So, and are we doing time? Lastly, I'll take 12 minutes. Okay, good. Thanks, Lisa. So, when you go to a listing presentation, now I take these guides with me. Okay, I only have one copy. I always only have one copy. Okay, I don't door knock, but I have agents that door knock in neighborhoods. Okay, and when they're door knocking, you have a copy, you print out one copy at Staples, whatever it is, a color copy, and you bind it. And it's the guide to Mariner, it's the buyer's guide to Mariner Sands, one copy. It's a copy of the Mariner Sands, quarterly price report or monthly price report. So when you go to a listing presentation, and the seller says to you, well, what makes you different? What are you going to do differently to sell my house? So you open these 2 guides up, you lay them on the table, and you say, well, look, I'm not waiting 6 months. I'm not waiting till you sign today to start marketing your house. We already produced the seller's guide and the buyer's guide. The buyer's guide to the Mariner Sands properties, we get 20 or 30 requests for this a month. Okay, it's very likely, potentially, that your buyer's already in my database. Okay, we're not waiting to start marketing your home when you sign today. Okay, we've already been doing this. And so you're going to show them the authority that you already have. And if you've been keeping them on, we used to mail, I haven't done it in a while, we used to actually mail this out every single month. We would mail a hard copy. Once they subscribed, we would constantly mail them a report in the mail. I think we probably should go back to it now. But literally, we'd go to houses and our postcards and the reports would just be a stack on the table right there. They've been getting their things for months, sometimes a year. And they save them and they read them. And then, see, the key in any type of marketing is, Dean Jackson, I'll go back to him again, he defines brand, building your brand, as a buyer reflex affecting a now decision. So when they decide it's time to sell, are you going to come into are you top of mind, we would say, right? Are they going to remember you? And so that's why we do a lot of the marketing that we try to do. Okay? But this allows us to really provide them the information that is really most usable for them. Does that make sense? And it's even the same with I was in the agent attraction one. Anybody at this session right before this one? It was agent attraction. There was 2 before where he was doing all with Aaron. What is his last name? Doing what is it?
Novello?
Yeah, doing the videos. Aaron Novello. I mean, incredible. He says he's just helping agents, providing them information, right? And they're coming to him, right, when they're ready to make a decision to switch brokerages or increase their business. So this is the same thing that when we think of our sellers, how will you become valuable to that seller? right? So you become valuable to that seller by again, creating that type of content, because the seller has to answer 3 questions when you go to see them, right? Do I like you? Okay. Do I trust you, and can you help me? So if you've been developing it with this types of guides and good and solid information specific to where they live, you'll develop that, right, over a period of time. Does that make sense? Okay. Any questions? So in the last 10 minutes or so, anything in AI at all, I can go anywhere you want to go with it. So.
Can you restate your prompt?
Which one?
MLS data.
For the MLS data?
Yeah.
Okay. So what's your name?
Benson.
Benson? Okay. Good, Benson. Okay, good. So Benson asked the prompt for the MLS data. So the question, I know I can't restate it because I don't remember what I said. But I want you all to, if you're not practicing prompting, right, and getting used to prompting, then get into the habit of learning how to prompt. Because it's not really it's not like a lot of things that are put forth as a high level skill, it's not. Okay? So, but let's just say, so what you want to do when you have a prompt, you want to think about what the output that you want. So I would say, I'm going to, you are you always tell the AI what it is. You are a marketing and advertising expert in the real estate space. And I'm going to give you 2 years worth of MLS sold data, historical data. And I want you to create me a report that a potential seller would find extremely useful in helping them to evaluate the price of their own home. So you need to include square footage, floor plans, specific locations in the community, any available data points that you can find that you believe will be valuable to a potential seller. And please give me that output in a neat, organized manner and easy to read chart or outputs or tables. Okay? Yeah. Does that help? Okay.
All right, so I'm like listening here, and like I want to kind of ask how the sausage is made, because you have social media in the mix, you have some AI in the mix, you have some direct mail in the mix.
Yeah.
You've got some, probably other marketing things. Like, how do you what's the mix, and how do you kind of look at it as an overall strategy?
Okay.
As you're deploying?
So the question is, how is it looking as overall strategy? We covered a lot of different points today on how to use AI. I think the theme that we covered, though, is using AI to create compelling content that conveys your authority, right, and conveys your competence to the market. So the question of where to start, right? So Angelo, if we were having a conversation, I would start with I want to know what you're doing right now, right? And what your basically resources are, and what you have access to, right? What you're doing right now.
Okay. So I have probably 3,500 homes that get hit by direct mail.
Okay.
We've got about five social media posts a week.
Okay.
We have a lot of redirects back into.
Perfect. So direct mail. What kind of response rate do you get from direct mail, if anything?
I don't know the response rate. I can say it's about a 4.5 to 1 spend to make ratio off of that.
Okay. So you make about 4.5 times that you spend. Okay. That's good. I'll tell you, my general rule of thumb is if I invest money for 90 days, I get a 90-day run. If I don't have a positive ROI, it's probably on the chopping block. And a lot of things have been chopped because of that, but I didn't used to do that. But so take direct mail, for example. So because Angelo's doing direct mail, we would maybe look at his direct mail campaign, say how can we optimize that with AI? In other words, you can't start everywhere. You can't within everything. You want to start with basically the one thing that you really want to focus on. So pick one thing, right? If you want to be a door knocker, go out and knock on doors, and you're going to have the guide in your hand, and you're going to knock on a door, and you're going to say, I'm in the neighborhood, we haven't met, but I'm becoming my goal is to become one of the top selling, most knowledgeable agents in this neighborhood. And I created a guide that to help people, keep track of tabs and the price of their home. I'd love to get you a copy. Would you love to get a copy of this guide? I say, for sure. Just scan this code, or better yet, text, get a voice, an IVR number. A voice response number where you can text a code to a number, and they'll get a free copy of that. Boom, you've got a data point, right? So if it's direct mail, then I would look at my postcards and look at the response rates from all those direct mails. Like, so a direct mail would be, like the postcard we always sent was, if you said it was just like that. So if you're curious what your Mariner Sands home might be worth, here's an easy way to find out. You know, we publish the monthly guide to Mariner Sands home prices, has all the most recent closed data for the last 2 years, as well as a summary of all the data points, and you'll be able to using this data to make a, you know, to figure out what your home is most likely worth in the current market. And yeah,
All right, well, I'm cutting you off, so.
that's okay. Okay.
All right, so one of my like BHAGs for
Mhm.
the future is I believe there's a lot of people that want to sell, like they're kind of locked in place a little bit right now.
Mhm.
There's a lot of people that want to buy, they're kind of like, oh man, I can't pay that much money because I can't afford it or whatever
Yeah.
the reason is, right?
Mhm.
I want to build a directory of like, hey, if you're in this building or this neighborhood,
Mhm.
like, would you possibly sell, right? Like, let's be the connector of like people
Mhm.
that want to be here and people that want
Sure.
to get out of
Yep.
here.
Be a market maker. The market maker.
How would you go about building that? Like,
So the first thing is to get a list of the potential sellers with the potential postcard campaign that we're talking about. The people that might want the free. See, there's something called the horoscope effect. What's one neighborhood you farm? What's the name of it?
Ono Island.
What is it?
Ono Island.
Ono Island. Okay, so if you lived on Ono Island and you're scrolling Facebook and you saw the October 2024 report to Ono Island home prices, might you stop your scroll at that point?
Yes.
Okay, that's called the horoscope effect, right? I don't read horoscopes, but if you open up a horoscope page, put it in front of me, I'll read Capricorn, because that's what I am, right? Okay, we're Capricorns. Okay, it's the horoscope effect. So this is why this works. So you can use the horoscope effect. That's why we want the named community to build these guides. And if you got a postcard that said, you know, the 2024 October guide to Ono, you know, community home prices, you might go to Ono, and you have the domain name, onohomeprices.com. Hurry up, people heard that, right? You register that domain name, it costs you $9. Okay, go to onohomeprices.com, make a landing page, get the free month, subscribe to the free monthly price report. Okay, that'll get people raising their hand. And that's like having magic goggles that houses are lighting up, the most likely sellers in 12 months have this report in their hand. Now it's follow-up.
Cool.
Yeah, does that make sense?
Last question?
Yep, last question. No more, we're good?
You're giving us that APT?
Yeah, so I've got it. I don't want it to be disruptive though. So you're going. We fit. Is it wrap? We're wrapping, right?
No, we have Mary.
Mary. Okay.
We have one more speaker.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So and find me on Workplace.
4:30 we'll be done 4:30 here,
Okay.
and then there's a reception downstairs.
Gotcha. Michael Weisman. Find me on Workplace. I'll send you a link to the GPT, and you can try it out. Okay. So just hit me up on Workplace, and I'll get them this afternoon. Get you all a copy of it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.